You're tuned into News Across the Galaxy, where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
Hey, where's everybody else? Well, I guess it's just me. You got me all to yourself tonight. Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I am Edgar, your host for tonight. But before we get started, can we please have a moment of silence for the dearly departed? Talking about the Houston Dynamo, the Columbus Crew, the FC Cincinnati. And, well, what else can you expect, man? It's been a really topsy-turvy weekend, and a lot of the teams that were expected to win aren't winning. And, out here in the West, there were a couple of shockers. I mean, there was one big shocker. That's RSL going down to Minnesota United. But when you look back at the record, all time, RSL has only beaten Minnesota United 3 times. And all of a sudden, we know who LA Galaxy is going to be facing in the next round because, spoilers, LA Galaxy completely destroyed the Columbus Crew. I'm sorry, the Colorado Rapids. So it's going to be LA Galaxy versus Minnesota United in the next match. Now, yes, I'm reminded by Ant. Yes, Cincinnati's still alive. I'm so sorry. Hey man, when you have a 4-year-old running around the entire day and you sit down and try to put your notes down and you're trying to keep up MLS, you try that too. But there were some big shockers. Columbus is definitely out. That's a big one because it's one of the teams that everybody expected to be there in the final. It's one of the teams that was expected to be a real threat to Inter Miami. Well, they're out. Red Bull New York took a lot of joy in doing that. This is a team that hasn't been looked at in a really long time, and all of a sudden they're back in the spotlight. And look at what Atlanta did. Atlanta went back to their beautiful stadium. A lot of people expected them to be easy targets for Inter Miami. They put up a good fight against Miami in the last game where Guzan had to pretty much stand on his head, and they come out with the big victory. They take it back to Miami for the third game, and the score we just saw right now, Vancouver Whitecaps shining brightly, 3-0 victory over LAFC, and they're going to make that 3 games now. And if LAFC is not careful, they could be out as well because they didn't look very convincing in that first game. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about the LA Galaxy, obviously. Before we begin, let me just go back real quick to a statement made by our good friend from Holding the Highline podcast out in Colorado, Matt Pollard. Our good friend said that after the 5-0 thrashing last weekend, that Colorado fans were pretty much getting ready for a funeral on Dia de los Muertos, Friday night. And they tried their best. It's not like Colorado was going to just lay down. If you follow their social media at all, they were putting out commercials and videos and hype packages, trying to make it seem like this is it, fellas. You got to come out. It's the Rocky Mountain High. It's an opportunity to get out there, get some nice cold air in your lungs, and cheer for your boys. Let's show LA Galaxy who's the boss up here in the mountains. Blah 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 blah. In the end, it didn't amount to much. And let's get into it. Real quick, let's take a look at the lineup for this game. Let me bring it up. Here we go. The lineup for the game. LA Galaxy had John McCarthy out at goalkeeper. Defenders on the wings, Johnny Nelson, Miki Yamane. In the middle, Emiro Garces, Captain Maya Yoshida. In the midfield, you had Ricky Puig, Edwin Cerrillo, Mark Delgado. And up top on the wings, he had Joseph Paintil, Gabriel Peck, and way up top, Dejan Joveljic. No real surprises here because this is probably the strongest lineup LA Galaxy has. Once again, we did not see Marco Roche, which is very smart of Banny. I feel like, why are you going to put him out there? You guys won the first game. You're going to put him out there for 90 minutes, maybe 45 minutes in an environment he's not accustomed to, which is in the mountains, and just bring him on in the second half when you need him. But going into this game, I felt like this was the best lineup possible for this team. If you guys have any thoughts about this, please drop them in the comments. But no real surprises at all. The only real surprise to me, I guess, is that Eric Zabaleta is still on this team because we haven't seen him in a really long time. But other than that, let's get into the match itself. Um, oh, actually, before that, just real quick, some statistics going into the game. On the road versus Colorado Rapids, Galaxy have only ever won 18 of 48 matches played, whether in Denver or in Commerce City. Before this year, they hadn't won at Dick's Sporting Goods Park since 2017. But now they've done it twice in a month. In 2024, Galaxy and Colorado played 4 times. All Galaxy victories by an aggregate score of 15-4. And it's not like Colorado didn't try, like I said. But as if things weren't difficult for them against mostly full strength LA Galaxy squad, they suffered greatly with injuries to key players like Cole Bassett, Georgi Mihailovic. They tried real hard to bring Cole Bassett back, but Bassett wasn't able to recover in time for the match. And they somehow were able to drag Mihailovic back out there. But if you pay close attention, he just did not look the same. So LA Galaxy came out there, and Colorado's trying real hard to shock the system. It really, really did not help that things just went sideways for them right off the bat in the 8th minute. Zach Steffen, my God, my boy, you had a nightmare series against LA Galaxy. This guy, who at one point was considered one of the best goalkeepers in the U.S. men's national team pool, now he's going to probably be seeing LA Galaxy in his nightmares. He gave up 9 goals in these 2 matches. And in this match, it all began when he committed a crucial mistake in the 8th minute, in which he had the ball, and Gabriel Peck ran up to him. And instead of maybe firing the ball to the sideline or trying to shield the ball, he decided to fire it right at Peck. And the ball bounced off Peck, and what a lucky bounce. The ball went straight into the net. Um, Peck gets the goal awarded to him. Galaxy celebrating. Stefan is probably trying to bash his head in. And right off the bat, Galaxy's up 1-0. Like I was saying, Colorado Rapids was really trying to make something out of this. They didn't lie down. And in the 19th minute, Oliver Larraz scored a banger from way outside the box to even things up for the Rapids, breathe some life into the somber DSG crowd. The goal came after a headed clearance from Emilio Garces made it to an unmarked Larraz, who gathered the ball and took one step before unleashing the shot to McCarthy's near post. And it completely woke up the crowd there at DSG. And if we're talking about the crowd, let's talk for a second about the G's that traveled to this match. Man, we could hear you. We heard the drums, we heard the singing, and real quick, uh, credit to the Colorado Rapids for allowing the traveling G's to take drums and to take flags into the supporter section. How often have we seen that teams around the league allow visiting supporters to do that? So, hey, a lot of credit to the Colorado Rapids. Uh, they have come a long way in 13 months. If we remember, about a year ago, LA Galaxy was dealing with the aftermath of the whole Chris Klein thing. It was a topsy turvy year. Um, Things kind of ended on a high note because things seem to be on the up and up after 10 years of just steady decline with Chris Klein. Meanwhile, if you're a fan of the show and if you've seen the midweek show, and we've had Matt Pollard on here several times from Colorado, he's described about what's been going on with the Colorado Rapids, and how they're owned by Stan Kroenke, who also owns the LA Rams and the Denver Nuggets. He's also the owner of Arsenal, and how they pretty much treat the Colorado Rapids like a forgotten stepchild. And so for the longest time, they were neglected. A lot of fans stood up. They protested at the end of last year. But since then, they've really paid close attention to everything from fan interaction to bringing in key players, and they really turned things around. They got back into the playoffs, and to be honest, they just ran out of healthy bodies in the end. But real quick, back to the match. The game was tied 1-1. This would have been great for Colorado because they can take some of this energy into the half and maybe come back in the second half. But you know what? Our boys, they're known for having good, strong second halves, right? But they didn't want to wait for that. Just 30 minutes into injury time at the half, just when it seemed the game might go into the dressing room at one, Joseph Paintsil put Galaxy on top with a fantastic goal to the far post. It's something that he had tried earlier in the 32nd minute. He had fired a shot to the far post that was tipped over the net by Stefan. Paintsil, he went right at Keegan Rosenberry, who backed off, and he allowed Paintsil to take aim again at the same spot, but this time he found the far post, knocking the ball off the post and into the net. Colorado had a few more chances in the second half, but their desperate attempts were snuffed out by the Galaxy defense or McCarthy. Um, but at the half, how do we feel at the half? Well, when is the best time to score a goal? Is right before the half, and it's something that's part of soccer lore, football lore. To score a goal right at the half, it's something that brings a shock to the other team, gives your team a big emotional boost. And Joseph Paintsil having done that was not just incredible for the LA Galaxy, but also for him, because he's been the target of a lot of criticism, me included, that he just seems very fatigued. He seems like he's kind of running on fumes. And he actually had a very good performance in this match. He looked like he was trying to do not too much, but just be in the right spot at the right place and try to place his shots in the to make himself a nuisance against Colorado. And after, like I said earlier in the game, he knocked on the door. He couldn't find the shot. It was tipped over by Stefan, but later on, he was able to beat him to the far post, and that gave Galaxy the lead at the half. Second half begins. Uh, and like I said, Colorado was trying really hard to make things happen. Not not a lot of happened. Galaxy defense, got to give them a lot of credit. They um, they were able to cancel them out. Johnny Nelson was doing great again. Miki Yamane, Maya Yoshida, Emilio Garces, they all did great job. And then also John McCarthy. The few times that Colorado was able to put the ball on frame, he was there to snuff it out. And it seemed like the match was headed to a very tense ending. Colorado up, I mean Galaxy up 2-1, and then Colorado decides, you know what? Let's go all out, put everything in, let's go for it, see what happens. We got nothing left to lose at this point. But in the 90th, the roof finally fell in for Colorado. A pass from Jonathan Lewis that was intercepted at the center circle by Miki Yamane was quickly redirected to Diego Fagundes, who carried the ball back to the Colorado half. He dragged three defenders with him, and he found a streaking Ricky Puig all alone, who ran into the box and tucked the goal under Stefan to make it 3-1 to seal the fate of the Rapids. But you know what? That wasn't enough. In honor of Bryant, Ricky Puig decided to beat a dead horse even more dead just a few minutes later, because in the fourth minute of added time, a Colorado Rapids corner kick that rebounded off the scrum in the box came out to Gabriel Peck, who passed the ball to the center circle, where a streaking Puig corralled the ball and it was off to the races. He left behind Connor Ronan, Omir Fernandez, to run up to Stefan. He skipped around him and fired the shot into the open net. And like I said, not to beat a dead horse, but yeah, they were beating a dead horse at this point. And that was it. 4-1. It didn't seem like it was going to end 4-1, but at the very end, Galaxy just completely annihilated the Colorado Rapids. You kind of feel bad for the Rapids because, like I said, they had come a long way with an owner that had pretty much neglected them for a long time, and they actually turned things around. Like I said, we speak to our good buddy Matt Pollard. He said, "You know what? They actually listened. They actually went out there. They listened to the fans. They brought in a coach that really cares. They brought some belief into the system, some hope that yeah, this year didn't end so well, but and they lost literally they lost 7 of the last 8 matches. But overall, they saw it as a successful end to their season. They made a really good run in League's Cup where they took out several teams from Liga MX, including Club America at the dig. And but by the end, they just had too many injuries. They tried to bring Kevin Cabral back into the fold, but at this point, Cabral just had nothing left to offer. If you guys remember, the last time he played in the regular season was against the LA Galaxy. He scored a goal. He like a timid deer, he just fell into the net, broke his arm or his elbow or something, and he was out. And he didn't come back until the playoff series against LA Galaxy. Really didn't do much. John Nelson put the locks on him, and that was it. That was it for Colorado Rapids. Now, I do understand that we do have some questions. So let's bring them up real quick. Says, can we have a question from Ant AOV007? He asks, can Galaxy tighten up their play for the semis and possible Western Conference final? Game two seemed closer than it seemed. Um, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the 4-1 score was not really representative of what we saw on the pitch, but that's because Colorado at this point was playing for their footballing lives. This is a team that had was pretty much staring death in the face. They had nothing left to lose. They're playing at home, where I've said that in the past, LA Galaxy has always had a very difficult time playing. This is what I think gave them that boost. They had a packed house, and they were trying their best, but in the end, Galaxy held together. They they were able to get the win, and then the two late goals by Pooh just put things way out of out of proportion. Can Galaxy tighten things up against the Minnesota United? That's a good question because Minnesota United, they at this point are the definition of the dark horse. Um, when you speak to other MLS pundits, and I've had the opportunity to be on several MLS podcasts, and not just talking to our friends that come and visit the show, but I've been on MLS Battered Fans and also Scarps and Spikes. And whenever the question comes up about, hey, who's your dark horse? People were saying, oh, it's Orlando City or it's Portland Timbers or Houston Dynamo, but nobody was really talking about Minnesota United. Minnesota, they started off pretty good, and then they just kind of dipped in the middle of the season. They had some issues, they had some player personnel issues, but they were able to make some very good acquisitions in the summer window, and they quietly started to creep back up into the playoffs. And I can't give you the numbers right now, but I heard from around the league that they actually finished with one of the best records in MLS in the second half of the season. So it's definitely worth paying attention to them. Obviously, we won't see them for the next 2 to 3 weeks, but I'm just letting you guys know right now that I already reached out to the guys who run Lunacy Podcast, and we will be having them on the show within the next 2 weeks, probably the week before the match. We still don't know if the game is going to be played the 23rd or the 24th. I really wish I knew because I want to go to a concert on the 23rd, and if it happens the same night as a Galaxy game, well, I'll be at the Galaxy game. We have another question over here from R. Pedraza 83. He asked, will this 3 week break hurt us? If you guys missed it, there is a big 3 week break. Ricky Puig actually tweeted about it, saying, "Hey MLS, we know what's going on. This is silly that there's a 3 week break. Get your shit together, pretty much." Yeah, this 3 week break is going to hurt everybody because um, if you watch these playoff games, every game is like do or die. It's full of adrenaline, a lot of energy expended out there, and you want to have this energy, and you're not going to want to sit on it. You're going to want to keep going and going and going, and then you have this 3 week break because, well, they got to play the third game of this first round next weekend, and then after that, you have the FIFA international window, and then finally they can get back to the playoffs. This is really dumb. It's some weird MLS scheduling. I think somebody mentioned that the baseball playoffs began. I mean, the World Series began after MLS started the first round and wrapped up before the first round was even over. And if you're talking World Series, hey, go Dodgers, baby, we did it. So yeah, definitely, this 3 week break is going to hurt everybody, not just LA Galaxy. Hopefully, um, Greg Vanny and his buddies are able to put together a friendly. I know that they probably will reach out to Ventura County FC. Maybe they can get something with Sacramento Republic or with the team from Phoenix, Phoenix Rising. It would be interesting, just a little closed door scrimmage to keep the boys warm as they prepare for the next match. Sammy has a question. She says, somebody asked this on X, but who are 5 guys to do PKs if it ever came to it? Oof, man, that's a tough question for LA Galaxy fans. But yeah, Gabriel Peck would definitely be one of them because we saw him just score recently. Um, then probably Joseph Pinto. Uh, put Miki Yamane out there because we saw him score one of those penalties in League's Cup. He was pretty good. I guess you got to throw Dayon in there. And number 5, Chewy. Definitely Chewy. And Chewy, we have a $2 super chat from Eddie who says, Chewy, turn on your camera, damn it. So thank you so much, Eddie. That's going to go to the Chewy fund right there. But yeah, no, actually, our 5th would probably be either Marco Royce or Ricky Puig. Um, but yeah, LA Galaxy, man, they got some issues there. Here we go. So, just some quick statistics for you guys, just to keep things in mind. Since the League's Cup break, Galaxy have now won 7 of their last 10 matches. In the regular season, Galaxy only lost 8 times. Who do they lose to? Well, let's go through the list. Austin, gone. Chicago, gone. Dallas, gone. St. Louis, gone. Portland, gone. Houston, gone. The only team left that beat LA Galaxy during the regular season is LAFC. And they just got whooped up in Vancouver, evening their series up with the Whitecaps at 1 game apiece. And like I said, if you didn't watch that first game between them, uh, LAFC has their hands full. And I know that at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of talk about their acquisition of Olivier Giroud. And you ask LAFC fans, you ask around the league, and it is probably one of the worst DP acquisitions in recent memory. If you guys can think of something worse, put it in the chat. But you have to agree, right? Olivia Giroud came in here. A lot of people said this is it. LAFC is going to go off. Yeah, they did go off, but it wasn't because of Olivia Giroud. It's just Boanga finally found his aim. Kai Kamara had a really good season, and Bogusz was really good for them in clutch situations. But Olivia Giroud, aside from a really nice goal scored in League Cup, hasn't really done much. I'm sorry, Open Cup, in the Open Cup. He really hasn't done much. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in this next match against a Vancouver team that suddenly smells blood in the water. A lot of people had written off Vancouver because overall LAFC has had a very good record against them, especially in recent memory. But now it's going to be a little harder for them. And one of the things that sucks about this long break is that we're kind of left sitting on, as Galaxy fans, we're kind of left sitting on our hands, and it's fun to watch playoff soccer, but it's even funner to actually take part. But now we're gonna have to wait and see who LA Galaxy will have to face if they get past Minnesota. But like I was saying, please do not sleep on the Minnesota United because they have come up. And in case you are wondering about Minnesota United, let me bring it up real quick. I'll tell you how they've been doing recently because it's the next team that we're going to be facing. Minnesota, wow, they have not lost a game since the middle of September. And since Leagues Cup, they've only lost twice, once to Seattle and once to Cincinnati. And the only other time that they did not win a game was a scoreless draw with RSL. But throughout that time, they have beaten up on all these other teams. And yeah, they're definitely going to be a really good threat to the LA Galaxy. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that LA Galaxy will be able to get past Minnesota United, or do you think that the Loons are going to come into into the dig and give LA Galaxy some trouble? Let us know in the chat. And in the meantime, let's talk about awards. Drop your awards if you want to right now. Of course, we're gonna start with the BJ. BJ goes to Chewy because I can't hear him, I can't see him, and I'm sure you guys want to see and hear him as well. Damn it, Chewy, get on the mic, man. Everybody wants to hear you. You got to give the people what they want, Chewy, and we want to see you right now. We want to hear you. You want to hear the ba 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 because we love you, Chewy. Just want to let you know. But and no Chewy, right? Am I saying right, Eddie? Oh, you know what? Next time I see you, I'm gonna give you $2 back, man. I'm sorry, but all right. So awards. Game is off award. Usually we have somebody else here with me, so that way I can think about it before I give my answer. Um, but it's just me. So game is off. It's kind of hard. It seems like LA Galaxy played another solid game from frame to frame. I can't really think of anybody that really didn't do well. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm being completely honest. I could look at who scored, and tell you guys maybe who had the lowest rating. Um, Interestingly enough, I'm looking at whoscored.com and they have John McCarthy with the lowest rating. I mean, what the heck did he do? Did he spill somebody's milk or something? I mean, the guy did fine except for that banger of a goal scored by Colorado. I mean, what are you gonna do? Um, Let me see real quick. Sorry, folks. Actually, let me see. Yeah, they have John McCarthy with the lowest rating. Interesting. But anyway, let's move on to the next award then, because I can't think of anybody. I guess we're gonna have to give it to John McCarthy. McCarthy, damn it, you should have kept a clean sheet, man. Game is off. As far as Yuga Hartman, it definitely has to go to Joseph Paintil. I feel like Joseph Paintil had kind of been on a real weird spiral. Like I said, he was look. It looked like he was playing really tired. The guy's been playing for what 19 months now. Like I've been keeping track, 19 months in a row without taking a break. Um, and I remember share a story with you guys real quick. When I first started covering MLS way back in 1997, um, I remember Kobe Jones was in the middle of World Cup qualifying with the U.S. national team, and so he had gone with playing the entire season in 1997. He did some matches for the U.S. national team in qualifying. The team um, then in the following season, they went to the I mean to the World Cup. He came back. He didn't really take a break. and he just kept on playing. And I remember at one point in the middle of the 1998 season, I went up to Kobe and I was like, "Hey, Kobe, you've been kind of off the last few games. Is everything okay?" And I was like, I asked him, "Are you tired?" And my God, did he get offended? So it's one thing I remember, like, never to ask a player if they're tired. And I'm sure if you ask Joseph Pinto the same thing, he's probably going to say, "No, I'm not tired at all." But his body of work says otherwise. But in this match, he really stepped up, and that goal that he scored, it just showed that he was looking to make something happen. Because earlier in the match, he had taken a shot to the same spot. It took a fingertip save by Zach Steffen to put the ball over the net. But the second time around, he nailed it. So obviously, he brought his heart into the match. He gets the award. You got heart, man. As far as next standing, it could go. Wow, it could go to a couple of people I could think of right off the bat. We could say Ricky Puig, because Ricky Puig got those two goals at the end that put the game completely out of reach for Colorado. But I'm gonna give it to Gabriel Peck. Uh, Number one, because of his wherewithal to run up to Zach Steffen and spook him to the point where he fired the ball directly at Peck, and then the ball went into the net. Some people might say, "Hey, what the heck, man? He wasn't firing." Hey, you run up to the goalkeeper and you make something happen, and you get a goal. That's huge, man. So I give it to Gabriel Peck, and then he also got the assist on that goal that sent Ricky flying for the fourth and final. So Gabriel Peck, as always, is a huge catalyst for the LA Galaxy. So I got to give it to him. If you disagree with me, let's hear it, because I want to hear you guys' awards for this match. So all in all, LA Galaxy goes into Colorado. They completely annihilate the Rapids on the score sheet. It might not have looked like that during the run of play, but they did what they had to do and avoided the pitfalls of what some of the other teams in this league have been going through. Like we said, Columbus Crew is out now. This is a team that a lot of people had seen as the team that could really stand up to Inter Miami, a team that is seen as probably the class of Major League Soccer, uh, aside from aside from Inter Miami, and all of a sudden they're gone. And then you also have to look at Houston Dynamo, a team that a lot of people were looking as the team that could probably challenge either LA Galaxy or LAFC in the West, because both teams have had very difficult times with Houston throughout the season. And now they're out too, against a Seattle team that at the beginning of the season, some of the podcasters that cover the team were saying this team is old. This team is in much need of a reload to bring in young, fresh players. But it seems that Seattle is gonna Seattle like they always do. Just when you think they're dead, they come back up, and here they are again, once again. And yeah, they're probably going to give whoever wins, either Vancouver or LAFC, they're going to give them a run for their money. Um, I know some people were saying that it wouldn't be a shock to see Seattle versus LA Galaxy in the Western Conference Finals, which would be a return to that old rivalry between Seattle and LA Galaxy. We haven't seen that in a while. So don't be surprised if that ends up happening. Um, and then, of course, we have RSL. They're out. You would think to yourself, wow, RSL, they had such a great season, but in the end, they were missing people. Some of the players that they were hoping would step up did not. And for some reason, it happens in not just MLS, happens in Premier League, happens in the Bundesliga. There's always a team that's your bogey team, and for RSL, it just happens to be Minnesota. Um, but yeah, and then, of course, we have some interesting series out there in the East. Cincinnati and New York, they're going to one more game. Um, it's that is up in the air. A lot of people expected Cincinnati to be one of the teams that would come out strong from the East, and they have kind of fallen out of the picture over the last month or so. But now NYCFC is pushing them to the brink. So can they get it done at home? We'll see. Orlando Charlotte has been very entertaining, especially in this last match. The crowd at Charlotte really brought it, and I hope to expect. I mean, I hope to see some of that energy also in the return match, which is going to be in Orlando. That's really an entertaining series. And then, of course, you have Miami, Atlanta. What are the chances that Atlanta could take out Miami? Um, what do you guys think? Do you think that Atlanta can do it? Or do you think that right now Don Garber is in the ear of some ref or some people saying, damn it, don't let them lose. Make sure Inter Miami's in there in the final. We got to have it, damn it. Banging his desk. Um, but for now, LA Galaxy, hey, Galaxy fans, we're moving on. Unless anybody else has any other questions on the chat, we're gonna wrap it up because well, it's a short show. Yeah, and I don't have Eddie with me. I don't have Bryant with me. Chewy is somewhere. I don't know where he is. He's probably playing Candy Crush. And it's just me. But hey, you have all of me. And you know what? I love you. But that's it for now. And let me check real quick if you have any questions before we get out of here. So you guys can go home, get some sleep. No questions. All right. Eddie, do you know if we have any questions? I know you're there, Eddie. I know I see you in the chat. Any other questions for anybody else? If not, let me know. I'm just letting you guys know that we will be having the Lunacy podcast. Like I said, they're going to be coming on within the next couple weeks. And okay, no more questions. So thanks again for spending your Sunday night. Yes, Sammy Chewy is playing The Sims. But once again, thank you guys so much for joining us again on your Sunday night. Sorry, it's such a light show, but like I said, I don't have my friends with me right now, and it's just me. And I gave you everything you needed to know. Galaxy won the game, who scored the goals, some information for you, and something to look forward to. And against Minnesota. Damn it, Eddie. Uh, Cisco asked, actually, hey, you have a question. Who do I prefer to play against? Seattle or LAFC? Uh, I think Seattle. I think LAFC is a more difficult matchup, but that's if they can get past Vancouver. You got to remember that. And I'd rather see LA Galaxy take on Seattle, although Brian Schmetzer always gives Greg Danny a difficult time. But we'll see. Hey, Sammy asked a question. With the Dodgers, what hate more, the Angels or the Yankees? Oh, come on, man. That's easy. It's the Yankees. The Angels. How can you hate the Angels? It's like hating like some like some poor kid that that has asthma issues in school. Like, why are you gonna hate on him? Life is already hard enough for him. You kind of look at him and pat him on the head and say, "Keep your chin up, kid." And then you take his lunch money. But anyway, I want to thank everybody that joined us again tonight. Um, Look forward to my announcement as far as having Lunacy podcast on the show. We're really looking forward to having those guys on, and we're gonna ask them, hey, what the hell were you guys doing to bring everything back? I know that before the season, before the playoffs started, I was talking to one of them on DMs on Twitter, and I told him, hey, everybody wrote you guys out. Do you guys think that you're gonna have something to say in the playoffs? And he's like, we're gonna surprise some people. And wow, yeah, they've actually done it. But yeah, it's Chewy awake. Chewy, are you there? I hope Chewy's awake because the show is ending and I need to wrap it up. Chewy, let me know you're awake, man, because otherwise it's gonna be weird. I'm just gonna be floating here in the ether. But once again, thank you so much for nagging with us this entire season. We'll see you guys again in the next week or two. We might have a show next weekend. It might be something along the lines of talking to some other people from other teams regarding the playoffs. Obviously, Galaxy is not playing next weekend, so we might be shifting the attention to the playoffs itself and just kind of recapping everything that happened in the first round and then looking forward to the next round and making plans for what's going to be happening. But for now, LA Galaxy is on ahead. The Dodgers are the World Series champion. The Lakers are off to a good start. The Clippers still haven't won at home, which kind of sucks. The Rams, I think the Rams lost, so that's good. The Raiders lost, that's good. And the LA Kings are one of the best teams in the NHL. So everyone, it was a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, keep on nagging. And hey, Wu Tang for life. All right, Chewy, play me out.